Hey, this is James Spann. This is a special Sunday morning weather briefing. This is for Sunday, the 7th of January. Thought we'd do an update this morning with a high impact event coming in here tomorrow night and Tuesday morning, and potential for some pretty cold air coming down the pike in about 10 to 15 days. And there are many questions, so I thought we'd go through all the data this morning and talk about it. So sit back and relax and let's see what's going on here. This is the upper air look this morning. And you can see a new trough digging down into the western United States. And that's going to be our system we'll deal with tomorrow night and Tuesday. But this morning, the big story is up in the Northeast. They're still getting snow there. This is from the system that brought the heavy rain in here about 30 hours ago. You can see snow falling over parts of New England, down through Pennsylvania, West Virginia. Some folks up there getting a lot of snow, but around here we're dry to start the day, and today should be dry, and we are above freezing this morning. We've got mostly 40s across the state, and we're expecting a high in the low to mid-50s today, a little below average for this time of the year, and I do think the sun will peek out at times. We'll say a mixture of clouds and sunshine. So let's look at the watch warning map. We'll begin with our region, and we note we have flash flood watches issued for parts of South Mississippi and southeast Louisiana. And this is for the incoming system, and they'll begin to see rain tomorrow. And there's no doubt we could see some pretty heavy rain here, and flash flood watches could be required for parts of Alabama, maybe tonight or tomorrow morning. And around the nation, oh boy, it's active. Winter storm warnings in the Northeast. For the new system, we have winter storm warnings in effect for parts of Kansas, Nebraska, Iowa, South Dakota. Winter storm watches surround that. A blizzard warning for parts of southeast Colorado and northeast New Mexico. Winter storm warnings in effect for parts of Utah, Colorado, New Mexico, Arizona. So very busy map. But no severe storms expected today, but tomorrow, with the new system lifting out, we have a chance of severe storms from east Texas into parts of the deep south. And as you look at this outlook, keep in mind, for Alabama, the main issue will be tomorrow night. And SPC has defined a level 2 out of 5 risk south of a line from near Linden down to about Fort Deposit and Dothan, and a marginal risk up to Tuscaloosa, Wetumpka, and Eufaula. And again, the bulk of the issues in terms of stronger storms will come after midnight tomorrow night during the pre-dawn hours Tuesday morning. And then after 6 o'clock Tuesday morning, we have a slight risk, level 2 out of 5, for the southeastern corner of the state. And here's a look at the larger risk. As you can see there, that covers parts of the Florida Peninsula, Georgia, the Carolinas. And the main limiting factor with this thing will be the instability. And again, we'll talk much more about the severe thunderstorm potential, but even with no severe storms, it's going to be very windy with gradient winds and very wet. In fact, speaking of wet, here's a look at rain for the next 7 days, valid through Sunday morning the 14th, and you can see for much of Alabama, potential for 2 to 4 inches of rain. And again, we certainly could see some flooding issues along the way. And again, we'll take a look at all of this in modeling as we go. And again, if you haven't seen it, this is the latest drought monitor. So a 2 to 4 inch rain will make a big dent in that drought. And parts of North Alabama still in D3 extreme drought conditions. So let's go through modeling. Model fans, this is the GFS. This is the 06Z run, valid today at 4. And, of course, we'll be watching that new trough in the western states. But, again, for us, we're in between the waves here. We'll be dry. Mix of sun and clouds, low to mid-50s today. Could be a few flurries up in East Tennessee. Gatlinburg might see a few snowflakes today, but nothing especially heavy. So this is tomorrow afternoon. Very deep surface low developing a little east of Amarillo. Big snows, parts of Colorado, Kansas, Nebraska, Missouri, and Iowa. And clouds will increase during the day, and initially the rain begins tomorrow across the southwestern counties of the state. And then this is late tomorrow night. And we've got that surface low near Oklahoma City under 1,000 millibars. And obviously with that, it's going to be very windy, very wet here. And a big snows north of that surface low. Kansas, Nebraska, Iowa, parts of Illinois. That's going to be a whopper of a snowstorm for them. But let's go through the high-resolution modeling here. So this is 6 p.m. tomorrow, 6 p.m. Monday. And just a big mass of rain should be falling across the state at that point. The rain should begin down around Mobile late tomorrow morning and then spread northward. And this is stratiform rain. No thunder, cool, stable, just rain. So let's go to the middle of the night tomorrow night. This is 3 a.m. Tuesday, after midnight tomorrow night. That big rain mass has moved north, and you can see that strongly forced line of heavy rain moving into the state. And again, that's going to produce very heavy amounts of rain. And the question is, could we see severe storms with this over South Alabama? And the big limiting factor, it's the instability. And again, this is coming off the 3-kilometer dam, and this is surface-based Cape, and there's just not much. The instability values are under 500 joules per kilogram for southwest Alabama, and that's about it. No surface-based instability anywhere else. And that's going to be your big mitigating factor in severe storms tomorrow night. Now, the shear values are off the chart. We all know that with an incoming system like this. But again, with that lack of instability, that should probably keep the threat of severe storms basically near the Gulf Coast. This is the STP, the Significant Tornado Parameter. This is a composite index. And again, this is 3 a.m. Tuesday, after midnight tomorrow night. And the numbers become elevated near the Gulf Coast, the Alabama Gulf Coast at that point. So really, I think the main concern for severe storms at the moment is going to be Mobile and Baldwin counties, even though I know the risk area is farther north. But if you're in Mobile, Foley, Fairhope, Bay Minette, Gulf Shores, Orange Beach, obviously you will be sure that you need to have a way of getting warnings in the middle of the night tomorrow night. Now, this is the main concern. Quite frankly, it's gradient wind statewide. Okay, and this has nothing to do with thunderstorms. This is related to a tight pressure gradient. And understand these numbers are probably a little too high. This is potential 10-meter wind gust peaks. And I would say down at the surface, we're probably going to see winds gusting to 40, 45 miles an hour. Up on the ridges, there might be a few spots that'll get a 50-mile-per-hour gust. And let me tell you what now, with all the rain we've had, and we'll have Monday in advance of this, that could knock down some trees and power lines. So there could very well be some power outages, not related to storms, but gradient winds late tomorrow night and during the pre-dawn hours Tuesday. So just make plans accordingly. And again, I know you're seeing some winds on this chart gusting to 60, but again, this is 10 meters, and it's a little probably too aggressive, but still, winds of 40, 45 miles an hour, maybe gusting to 50 on the ridgetops. That could easily knock down some trees, so keep that in mind. And no doubt a wind advisory is going to be needed. That'll be an upper-end wind advisory. So then Tuesday afternoon, the big rains have moved on out of here, and we see the 540 thickness line down into North Alabama, but it's going to be mild. Temperature should be in the 50s on Tuesday, and we don't expect any snow flurries in the backside of this thing. This will be a cloudy, windy day. And again, maybe some drizzle during the afternoon Tuesday. And again, big snows, Iowa, parts of the Great Lakes, and then heavy rain east of Alabama. And then Wednesday, everything's on by. The day will be dry, highs in the 40s for North Alabama, 50s for the southern counties of the state. We're dry Thursday, and then the next system comes in here. This is Friday. Got a deep surface low that's over East Texas that's going to generate snow and ice for parts of Oklahoma, the Texas Panhandle, and Kansas if this works out. And again, more rain here. And this could be another heavy rain wind event at the end of next week on Friday. Remains to be seen if we destabilize for any severe storms near the Gulf Coast. We need to get the early week system out of here, then we can focus on that. And then this is Saturday, and that's going to be windy and colder, highs dropping in the 40s, and evidence there could be a few flurries over North Alabama Saturday. Nothing meaningful if that happens in that look. And again, that's a blizzard there for parts of Michigan and Minnesota, Wisconsin, Illinois, Indiana. That's nasty looking. Chicago, goodness. It's going to be a very active week. And this is a week from today. This is Sunday the 14th. Trough moves on out, and we are kind of chilly and dry with highs in the 40s and lows in the 20s if this works out. Let's go out 10 days. This is Tuesday the 16th. Got troughing over the eastern states. And again, if this is right, the weather would be cool and dry. We'll look at the temperature anomalies. Now, this is coming off the American GFS, a little below average, but I want to show the European. It looks radically different. And again, these are temperature anomalies on Tuesday, the 16th of January. And those anomalies are almost off the chart out there across the heartland. Brutally cold air. And just by the weight of that alone, it's going to seep in here. Whether it just rushes in here or seeps in here, we don't know that yet. Of course, the question is, how much does it modify? But it certainly looks like it could turn pretty cold here in about 10, 11, 12 days. And again, this is 10 days out. And like we always say here, there's no skill in a specific forecast beyond 7 days, but there is some skill in pattern recognition to look at trends. And I don't know why. Anytime we start talking about cold and stuff like this in this 7, 10, 15-day range, people get all bent out of shape. I mean, the anger is off the charts this year. Why? I don't know. We're just looking at weather here. But just be aware, there's a chance it could turn pretty cold here in 10 to 15 days. How cold, we don't know. Could there be any wintry precipitation? We don't know. Nobody knows. But we'll sure be watching trends. Look at rain for Birmingham coming off the European ensemble. The mean is a little over 3 inches, but some of the members are in excess of 6 inches between now and the 22nd of January. Look at temperatures coming off the national blend of models. This is for Birmingham. Your number could vary. 50 today, 50s tomorrow and Tuesday, a little colder on Wednesday, and then pretty chilly for the weekend, the following weekend here, the 13th and 14th. And let's look out there in the longer range. This is coming from the Climate Prediction Center. This is a product issued by NOAA. This is for January 14th through the 20th. And there's just a whole lot of blue on that map. Temperatures below average. The core of the cold air north and west of here, but certainly below average down here. And again, we stress, how cold, we don't know. Will it snow? We don't know. But it certainly looks like an interesting month of January ahead as we get into this very active pattern. So if you're new here, we simulcast these on my YouTube channel and my Facebook page, typically weekdays, in the morning about 5:15, the afternoon about 2:45. But sometimes, like today, if we have some active weather, we'll do it on the weekend. So we're glad you're here. We know most of you watch it later. And I'll post more updates on the social channels later. Today's new modeling comes in. Might do another video later this evening, and then we'll be back on the television side tomorrow evening. So thanks for watching. Have a marvelous, marvelous Sunday, and God bless.